hours. The problem of practice that I did involves a first grade lesson that introduces and defines a tall tale. So the lesson that I observed was 3 stages. There was a reading stage where 3 different tall tales were read to the students. Second stage was a teacher-led discussion where the teacher compared the tall tales to each other, introduced the elements or characteristics of what makes a tall tale a tall tale. The last stage was a written piece that was done on a standard journal that the kids do each morning. It's got a box at the top for an illustration, some journal lines at the bottom. So the lesson was fine. It went through fine with probably the typical amount of redirection that 6-7-year-olds need. I think it could have been better. It could have been more engaging. So what I wanted to do was look at each of the stages. The first stage, simply reading tall tales to the kids, I didn't think needed to be changed. Kids of all ages like to be read to. They seem to, where tall tales are kind of silly, it's right up their alley for 6-7-year-olds. The second stage was needed improvement. So instead of a teacher-led discussion where the information is being spoon-fed or just delivered to the kids, I thought it would, and the other thing is that they just spent, 10 minutes listening. So I think they needed to change it up. So for that, I wanted the kids to be leading the discussion, a more child-centered approach, where they're asking the kids questions to get them started, and then allowing the children to ask their own questions, form their own criteria of what makes a tall tale. That's difficult to do with 6 and 7-year-olds, as they can easily get off track and need redirection. And the temptation, I understand the temptation to spoon feed the information because you just want to get it done, move on to the next piece, but I think it's more valuable to the kids and more engaging, more interesting if they can kind of define their own rules and really the one main piece they need is that the action is what defines it. It has to be a realistic action that is exaggerated to be bigger than life. And so if they get that one key element, then I think they've succeeded. The last stage, the journal page is really just a worksheet. So I thought that was unimaginative and not a good idea. So for that, I wanted to incorporate some technology, get the kids on the computers or tablets. I looked at Scratch Junior. I looked at Book Creator. And I think that Book Creator was the better choice for this age group. Mainly because Scratch Junior had a lot of other elements in it. And I felt like that sort of littered the screen and muddied the waters a little bit. I thought that Book Creator was very simple. The tools were very straightforward, all arranged at the top, very easy to operate. But it was also very open-ended, which can allow for a lot of creativity. As long as, the kids picked that up very quickly, learned how to use that very quickly. So the other thing I wanted to do was, before the lesson began, a few days before, seed the environment with cues, posters, pictures of different tall tales, to pique their interest. The reading part of the classroom was had a lot of tall tale books that were age appropriate added in, so that when the lesson came around, kids would have already been asking questions. What is that poster of, or have come across one of the books during their reading period and covered that as well. So that when the lesson came, it wasn't coming out of the blue. It seemed to go well. At the end of this, I'll post an example of a final product that I got from one of the kids, Old Krabby. I hope you enjoyed the brief adventure of Old Krabby. So the final piece to this is to gather all of the final work of the students into Google Classroom, and then have that available for them to share, so they can look at each other's tall tales. And they enjoyed doing that part of it, because because of the silly elements that really piqued their curiosity. So all in all, I think it was a success, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you.